I'm going to talk about something that's called creative coding, and I'm starting with a little story. So this is the Münster School of Design where I studied, and that was 2012. And we had a huge library with treasures of books all about art, design, and architecture. And one of these books is called Generative Design. Generative Design, right? So it contains artworks like this one, or this one, or this one. So, and as you can see, there's a huge complexity in these works, right? There's something really that makes these works very complex. And I was sure that it's impossible to create such things and such artworks with the tools I was recently working with. So I asked myself, what is the secret ingredients of these artworks? And it is the fact that they are all built with code, right? They are all built with computer programming. In this case, they're all built with a programming language called processing. Processing, beautiful word, right? And this is a programming language for artists and designers. So 2013, 1 year later, I was graduating from the MSc, and I just went back to my hometown Paderborn because my parents have an agency here where I worked. And since I'm 15, I'm a musician. I make electronic music. And yeah, one day I just walked around in Paderborn and I met someone called Patrick. He's in front of me here. Please raise your hand once. Yay! Clap your hands for Patrick! Woo! Okay, that's enough. That's enough. And you know, we were just chatting about what could we do together. We would like to make a free project, maybe something uncommercial, because he's a super talented designer and self-taught designer, very important. And also he has a huge knowledge about computer programming. So we were just thinking about what we could do together, and we came up with the idea that he could make the visuals of my music. I showed him the book, Generative Design, and he was completely blown away, right? So he was absolutely, he still looks like this. He's just close to the book. The closer I get to him, he's just, what? So cool. Okay, you know, he was just studying the whole stuff, and just about, I think, 2 or 3 months, we were able to do something like this. So as you can see, there's me in front of the stage, and behind me there's a projection. And that's a very special kind of projection, because these are audio-reactive visuals that react to the music in real time, right? So Patrick wrote a software that takes the music and transforms it into visuals. He used this processing program to create a software that takes the music and converts it into visuals. Just a few weeks later, Stefan joined us, and we founded the UV Collective. And as a band, we were just, well, we had pretty cool bookings from the first moment, like the Juicy Beats Festival or the Reset Festival in Münster, beautiful one, and for the Gleis 22 Münster, Domizil Dortmund, very beautiful places in just 1 year. That was because we had this unique selling point. We had these audio-reactive visuals that really were responding to the music in real time, what's very special. This is kind of how it looks. You know, Stefan is just hitting one of these electronic drums, and something on the stage is just happening in time. After 1 year, I became completely bored of making music, because I was already making music since 15 years, and I just felt like, okay, it's great to have great gigs, it's great to play in big locations, but at the same time I became super interested in what Patrick was doing, this creative coding stuff. So I wanted to learn that, and I wanted really to quit that music, or pause that music thing in my life, and go on with something completely new. And this was creative coding, and I asked Patrick if he could please teach me how it works, and we rented a wooden cabin in the woods of Witzenhausen. No internet connection, no cell phone connection, 2 guys, 2 laptops, 5 days, just coding that looked completely weird, right? But we had a great time, and I really enjoyed it. And after that time I was able to do something like this. So as you can see, there's this huge, incredible complexity again. And in the meantime, many things happened, because yeah, Patrick and me, we both built up our artistic identities and published our works on exhibitions and in the internet. That was 2015. Today, many things just evolved. This is one of my works I've just made for the PSD Medienfassade, which is a huge media wall in Münster. It's 40 meters high, and well, this is just something like a generative music video I've made, and people can stream the music via an iPhone. That's pretty cool. And this is just a mock-up. That means this is not real. But I'm thinking about how can I bring this kind of art into the world without forcing people to look onto their screens, without forcing people to look onto their phone or whatever. I want to bring this kind of art into the world. And yeah, Patrick and me, we just share an office now. We have an office here in Paderborn, in the Riemeke Viertel. And I'm looking forward to develop more interesting projects in the future. So now let's focus on what creative coding is exactly, okay? So creative coding means programming with an artistic purpose. That means we use programming languages, in this case processing, which looks like this, to create art and design or architecture or whatever. And yeah, it's just like, you know, you have got something like a text editor and you just write your code in and the computer is going to do exactly what you've just typed in there. And it's pretty amazing. But there's one more thing that's much more amazing than this. It's the fact that every single project, and that's a discovery I've made, follows a simple pattern that repeats from one project to the other, over and over again, right? It's very simple, it's no rocket science, it's just like this. Remember, just a few minutes ago I told you that Patrick wrote a software that takes the music and converts it into something new, right? So, what if we take this as an creativity technique to create new ideas for projects? So Patrick took the music and transformed it into visuals. What if we just use these parameters and change them to create new ideas for projects, right? So to clarify this a little bit, I've made a mind map. I'm just not going to talk for 5 minutes, you can study it. No, just kidding. On the left side here, you see the input possibilities, and on the right side, you see the output possibilities. That means there are incredibly many things possible, and that is a really interesting discovery I've made. I just simplified this a little bit for you, just to clarify it. On the left side, just imagine we could take music or sound, or text, or big data sets. There are huge data sets available on the internet, right? Or image archives, like maybe the Museum of Modern Art or something. Just it's providing thousands of images online you can use for your artworks. Or the webcam sign, or user interaction, or geodata. I can also look at this screen, right? Perfect. Or the newsfeed, maybe the New York Times or something, right? To convert it into something different. Look on the right side. We can make interactive installations, data visualizations, sculptures, graphics, animation, sound, and even furniture. Imagine maybe kind of a chair made of your favorite book. How does it look? Well, I don't know how it looks, but it's just possible to connect these things to design new ideas for design and, well, creative coding projects. That's very exciting. So here are some cases to clarify this a little bit. This is one of the works that has been presented in this book, Generative Design. Many thanks to Cedric Kiefer from Informative for allowing me to use that whole stuff of their portfolio. This is a Wikipedia visualization. So every single bubble is representing one Wikipedia article. And if you click on one of these bubbles, it just reveals all the other Wikipedia articles that are linked inside this article. So this is a very experimental way of exploring data. Maybe it is useless, but I don't care, I like it. It's just beautiful, right? Okay, you're not convinced? Okay, next one. So, no, before I just want to clarify this pattern. The input is Wikipedia. The pattern is very simple, right? The input is Wikipedia and the output is an interactive infographic. So let's have a look on another project. This is also by the studio Informative, once again thanks to Informative to Berlin. It's called Unnamed Sound Sculpture, and it takes the motion capture data. That means it takes a video signer and converts it into a 3D animation of particles just flying around the space anyway. And yeah, this is a very nice work, I think. It has been exhibited in different places and it's quite known in the scene. So it takes the motion data, right? It takes the motion of this dancer and converts it into a 3D animation. So the pattern again, right? One more work by my friend Patrick, who's sitting in front of me. This is a software creating infinite generative collages. That means he takes huge image archives to load into processing and convert them into collages like this. Just to illustrate this a little bit, we've just made 100 collages for you, all following the same system, and they just look like this. There are infinite possibilities to combine these images with each other, right? So this is I think this is a very interesting tendency for the future of design. But that's another topic. Okay, so the input. What is the input? Yeah, right. What is the output? Okay, it's written down there, okay. So you can read it. So the output is generative collages, right? I'm coming to an end of my talk, and I just want to say two more things. You know, I've learned many things in the last 2 years. I've learned how to create systems that draw things on the screen, and I just learned to make things that look nice. But I want to bring these projects, these are just mock-ups. I didn't realize these projects, so this is really just a Photoshop collage. But I want to bring this art into the world, and I want to bring these kind of works to make people, enable them to experience them. So this is one of the things I want to do. The second thing I want to do in the future is to use this input and output pattern to create tools that people can use to sketch their own project ideas. Because I think this is very powerful, and it can really change the way people work with creative coding. So, thank you very much. Have a nice evening. Bye.